Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this Netflix review. The fact that you're willing to sacrifice a few minutes out of your day to consume my content really does mean the world to me. If you do not know my channel at all, I review everything that has just been released on Netflix. So if you're ever curious about whether a movie, series, or documentary is good or bad, come to my channel and I'll let you know if you're wasting your time or not. Subscribe, get engaged, because I want to become your go-to Netflix guy. So today is Easter Friday, it's Good Friday, and I probably watched the worst movie I could have watched on such a Christian day, I guess, for lack of a better word, and that is Madame Claude. Madame Claude is a historical figure. The movie is based on her life. She is probably the most well-known brothel owner in history. And this movie takes place at the height of her brothel's notoriety. And ultimately, the film is just about her and her brothel. After watching this movie, I had one question going through my mind. Why was this a movie? There was nothing in this movie or the story that this movie told that was so miraculous that it deserved a movie to be made about it. And what's crazy to me is that this isn't even the first film about her. There was a movie released in 1977 about Madame Claude as well. That film was described as a softcore porno. And this film is no different. There is gratuitous sex, too much nudity for any kind of movie to be considered even, I don't know. I didn't have a good time with this movie. I really didn't. And there's a lot of reasons why that is. I'm going to get into them now. Majority of my disdain and dislike for this movie boils down to 2 points: the story and the overuse of sex and nudity. The story was so lackluster. There was no developments, there was no character progression, nothing like that. Nothing that warranted my engagement. There was no internal conflicts about the film that I wanted to learn more about the characters or their situations. Everything about this film was just, this happened, this is a response. This happened, this is a response. It's ultimately a day in the life of Madame Claude. But there's nothing pushing me to think, wow, this is a film I really want to engage with. And ultimately, what's the point of watching a movie if you aren't excited about the story? The next thing I really didn't enjoy, as I mentioned earlier, was the sex and the nudity. This is the vibe I get from the sex and the nudity used in this film. I understand it's a brothel. I understand it's about sex workers. So if you want to give an accurate representation of their life and their work, sure, nudity and sex is probably the most realistic way to depict that, but you can do it tastefully. This movie did a horrible job of doing it tastefully. I feel like they used the nudity and the sex almost for shock value, and they try to use that as the entertainment to cover up the fact that there is absolutely nothing happening in regards to story in this film. The performances themselves were great on the most part. There were two actors where I felt like their performances were so wooden, I could not get engaged at all. So when you have a barely existing story with performances that really just don't work on, those scenes just crumbled. And for those performances that were either okay or great, they're let down by such a substandard story and such a boring plot that you can't get engaged. At the end of the day, all I could feel while watching this movie was I was just thinking to myself, wow, this is a miserable movie. It's a miserable movie. And there are lots of great movies out there that aren't necessarily happy movies or that tackle really crappy, hard subject matter. But this film was miserable. The movie ends and you're feeling miserable. There's nothing about this movie that is positive or enjoyable. Even the color grading itself, I don't mind dark color grading. Zack Snyder's films I love. 300 is beautiful despite its dark use and dark tones. But this film was just, it was almost an eyesore to watch. It was filmed very, very well. But the visuals are so dull and lackluster that you can't even get engaged with good filming because the end product has been ruined. I know I've been incredibly negative throughout this film. And that's for me because I did not enjoy a single second of it. There was not a moment in this film that I thought was, wow, this is engaging, this is exciting. I'm glad this is a movie. There was nothing about this movie that kept me entertained. I wanted to stop watching this movie. The only reason I watched this movie to completion was so I could give you guys a proper movie review. But man, this was just painful and miserable to watch. So guys, that's my review. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, to be 100% honest. This is a hard watch. There's no story. Ultimately, it's just really, really, really boring. Like, that's the film. So guys, thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. You're awesome. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Leave a like. You guys are the best. You're awesome. And I hope to see you again in another review.